And here is the second video right now. Okay, so one of the first things I said about this is that we have 2 frames for our splash page and we have 2 frames for our menu. Again, there's a little jump there because I was playing around with it. Why have we got 2 frames? Now, there's a good reason for that. If you watch the first video, you'll know that we have music on the splash page and on the menu, and there's obviously music on all of the videos here. Now, Animate does this thing whereby if you start playing a video, you start playing music, and then you jump to a different frame, it keeps playing the music from the previous frame. And if you do that another 5 times, it will keep playing all 5 pieces of music. So the reason we have 2 frames here, let's say I'm on scene 4, and I want to go back to my splash page. If I arrive back at my splash page and I don't take some action about the music it was playing on scene 4 as part of the video, it will be playing when I get back here. So what I have to do is I go back to this initial first frame and I put in a little piece of code. And what the code says is soundmixer.stop all. Now what that does is it stops all sound going through the sound mixer. Right? So when we arrive back at that frame, the first thing it does is stop all sound playing. Now there's a reason we have to do that, because when we arrive here, if you remember when we started this animation, a piece of music does play. Listen. Okay, now I want to play music on that frame. What I don't want is for it to have any other music playing on that frame. But if I put this piece of code onto the same frame where I want to play music, it won't allow me to, because what that does is it will stop all music that was playing previous to you arriving on the frame and all music that's been activated while you're playing on the frame. So what you literally do is you jump back to the first frame, you allow that one piece of code to stop the music, and it will automatically play forward to the next frame, which is, it's an identical picture, so you can't tell. And because we're playing an animation at 24 frames per second, we're not going to see any kind of a jump in any way. But here's the important thing. On this frame, I put a stop right at the beginning. I don't put one in the previous frame because I don't want it to stop there. If it stops there, it will never go here and start playing the new piece of music. So we're on scene 1, we're playing a video. We don't want to play the video anymore. We click return to menu or whatever it is. It brings us back here for 1/24 of a second. It stops playing the music from the video. It then automatically progresses to the next frame where it's told to stop and listen out for a button to be pressed. When the button is pressed, it's the menu button. Let's move this off to one side. So it's that button there, which brings us to the menu. So when we click on that button, the code automatically brings us to here. Now, what does this do? This automatically stops the music that was playing on our splash page. There's no stop on that frame. It progresses to here automatically. Now, there is a jump there. There shouldn't be, just I was messing around and it's out by a pixel. So it automatically progresses to here. And what does it do here? Basically, it has 10 little bundles of code waiting to bring us to those 10 frames I mentioned in the first video. But it also has a stop. So it's very clear. We're on the videos, we click one of the return to menus. Now at the moment I don't have a button bringing us back to the splash page, you'll have to create one. But what I have on all of these is a button that brings us back to the main menu, which is just here. So it brings us back to here. The piece of code that's here stops the sound that was playing. It automatically progresses to here, where it then is told to stop and listen out for one of our 10 buttons. One of our 10 buttons is pressed, it brings us to the corresponding frame, it plays the video. We click on the menu button to go back again, it brings us back to here. This piece of code stops the music that's playing, it then progresses here and stops. Yes, this is getting repetitive, but you get the idea. That's how it works. Okay, now don't be too concerned if you are kind of going, what? It takes a little bit of time to get used to this, and you've got all of these different layers going on, and then you have all of these frame labels and numbers and all of that. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to start with something very simple before you get into this. The reason I'm showing you this is normally people's first reaction is, I can't do this, that's impossible. I'm going to start you with something very simple. I'm going to start you with 2 frames which have a button on each one. When you click on the first button, it will automatically bring you to frame 2, where there'll be a button that if you click on it will bring you back to frame 1. When you do that, We're then going to make a frame 3 and make a button that brings us to frame 3, and then a button on frame 3 that brings us back. Once you understand that, you can do a million of them because they're all exactly the same. There's no difference. What's making this look confusing is all the different images and the different layers and the music and the sound and the what. It's not that bad. Once we get into it, it's going to be perfectly fine. And at this stage, you already understand all of the code if you're watching the first video. So this is going to be okay. Don't be fazed by this. By the time you are finished this assignment, you would be able to go back and do it again from scratch in 20 minutes. I kid you not. Okay, so that's that one there. Any question on this, as always, you can let me know. But you're going to be fine with this. Just trust me on this.